Stop. Whatever you are doing, stop right now. Not because I am asking, because something far greater than either of us already stopped you. You did not find this video, chosen one. This video found you. And before the next few minutes are over, you are going to understand exactly why that difference matters more than you can imagine right now. I need you to look at your day. Really look at it. You had things to do, a list, a routine, a direction you were moving in, and something you cannot fully name, pulled you here. Maybe you felt restless. Maybe you felt a weight in your chest that had no logical explanation. Maybe you were in the middle of a task and your hands just stopped. And you ended up here. The enemy filled your day with noise for a reason. He needed you too distracted to stop, too tired to receive, too busy to hear the frequency that God has been transmitting in your direction for weeks. He needed today to pass like every other day, without you hearing what I am about to tell you. But you stopped. You are here. The enemy failed. Chosen one, what you are about to hear will explain something you have been carrying for a long time. Not just the exhaustion, not just the feeling that something enormous is always about to shift and never quite does. I am talking about the deeper question, the one you ask in the dark when no one is watching, the one that sounds like, why is it always me? Why do I keep hitting the same wall? Why does everything feel so close and yet so far? Stay with me, because God interrupted your day today, your specific day, your specific timeline, to answer that question. And what comes in the next few minutes was arranged for you before you woke up this morning. Let me tell you what I see when I look at you. Not the surface, what is actually happening underneath. I see someone who is tired in a way that sleep does not fix. You can close your eyes for 8 hours and wake up feeling like you never rested, because the exhaustion is not in your body, chosen one. It is in your spirit. It is the weight of carrying something enormous without knowing what it is or when it ends. I see someone who watches opportunities dissolve, not once, not twice, but in a pattern so consistent and so precise that it stopped feeling like bad luck a long time ago. You get close. Something shifts. The door closes. And you are left standing in the hallway again, wondering what you are missing, what you did wrong, why the same wall keeps appearing in different forms. I see someone whose finances do not follow normal logic. You work, you try, you make the same moves that seem to work for other people, and somehow the ground never quite becomes solid under your feet. There is always an emergency, always something unexpected, always a reason why what you built yesterday needs to be rebuilt tomorrow. And in your quietest moments, you have wondered, not out loud, but in the space behind your thoughts, whether you are somehow marked, whether something is working against you. I see someone who has been hurt by people who should have been safe, not strangers, people close to you, people you trusted, prayed for, showed up for, without being asked. And somehow, in ways you still cannot fully understand, those exact people became the instruments of your delay. And the worst part is not even the betrayal. It is that you still, after everything, find ways to blame yourself for not seeing it sooner. Chosen one, none of this is random. None of this is punishment. None of this is evidence that God forgot you, or that you are too broken to reach, or that the people who doubted you were right. What I just described is not the portrait of someone being abandoned. It is the portrait of someone being prepared. And there is a difference, a crucial, life-changing difference, that God interrupted your day today to make sure you finally understand. If you feel the weight of truth in my voice right now, If something in your chest recognized what I just said, anchor yourself in this moment. Press the like button, not for me, as a declaration to the spiritual realm that you are present, awake, and ready to receive. Type 999 in the comments right now. 999, the number of divine completion. The number that says, something in my life is finishing and something new is beginning. And if you have not subscribed, do it now, because this channel was built to keep reaching you at the exact moments when you need it most. Now, let us go deeper. Chosen one, I want to start with something that will reframe everything you have been living through. The first truth. Interruption is God's primary language. In 1 Kings 19, the prophet Elijah stood on the mountain waiting for God. First came a great wind that shattered rocks. God was not in the wind. Then an earthquake. God was not in the earthquake. Then fire. God was not in the fire. And after the fire, a still small voice. Most people wait for God in the earthquake, in the dramatic, undeniable, impossible-to-miss moment. And they miss him in the interruption of an ordinary day. They miss him in the restlessness that has no name. They miss him in the pull toward a message they cannot explain. Today, God spoke in the only language quiet enough for your spirit to receive right now. Not because you are not ready for the earthquake, but because what he needs you to hear requires stillness. It requires exactly what you are doing right now. Stopping. Receiving. The second truth. You were placed on this road on purpose. In Acts 8:26, an angel told Philip, "Arise and go south toward the desert road." No explanation, no context. Just go. And Philip went. And on that road he encountered the Ethiopian official, a man reading scripture he could not understand, positioned at that exact location, at that exact moment, waiting for someone who had been interrupted and chose to obey. The Ethiopian did not know Philip was coming. Philip did not know the Ethiopian existed. But God, who lives outside of time, had arranged the collision of two divine interruptions, and from it came a transformation that changed the trajectory of an entire nation. Chosen one, you are on that road right now. You do not yet see what is at the end of it. You do not know what this interruption is building toward. But God does not interrupt randomly. He interrupted Philip's day to position him for someone else's breakthrough. And he interrupted your day today because there is something at the end of your obedience to this moment that will affect not just you. It will affect the people attached to your destiny, the people who have been waiting on the other side of your next step. The third truth. The pattern was never what you thought it was. Here is what no one told you about everything you have been through. The closed doors, the financial pressure, the betrayals, the prayers that felt unanswered, the dreams that seemed to be taking too long. In Genesis 37, Joseph had a dream so clear and so full of divine promise that he could not contain it. And the very next thing that happened, the very next chapter, his brothers threw him in a pit, sold him to strangers. He was taken to Egypt, falsely accused, imprisoned for years. For years, chosen one, the dream looked like a lie. The promise looked like cruelty. And then, in Genesis 41:14, at the precise moment God had ordained before the foundation of the world, Pharaoh sent for Joseph, from the pit to the palace. But not without the pit, never without the pit. The dream God placed in you before you were born is still active. The delays did not cancel it. The betrayals did not erase it. The closed doors were not rejections. They were redirections. They were God saying, not that way, not yet, not that person, not that path, because where you are going requires a preparation that cannot be shortcut. And Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." That verse was not written to people in comfortable positions. It was written to people in exile, people who had watched everything they built get dismantled, people who prayed and heard silence, and to those exact people, the most forgotten, the most delayed, the most confused by the distance between the promise and their present reality, God sent that word. That word is for you, today, right now. That is why He interrupted your day. But this is only the surface, chosen one. What comes next is what the enemy fought hardest to keep you from hearing today. Because what I am about to tell you is not just comfort, it is intelligence. Spiritual intelligence about why this specific day was chosen for your interruption and what the next 72 hours are going to require of you. Layer 1. The sign you have been misreading. There is a sign that appears consistently in the lives of people who are approaching a divine threshold, and almost everyone misreads it as a sign of failure. The sign is this: intensification. When everything gets harder right before the breakthrough, most people interpret the pressure as confirmation that they are moving in the wrong direction. The enemy knows this. He weaponizes the intensification deliberately. He amplifies the pressure at exactly the moment when surrender would be most costly, because he knows what is waiting on the other side of that pressure, and you do not. Think about a woman giving birth. The moment of greatest pain is not in the middle of labor. It is at the very end, in the final push, right before the child arrives. If she stopped at the moment of maximum intensity, she would never meet what she had been carrying. The pain was not a sign that something was wrong. It was a sign that the arrival was imminent. Chosen one, I need you to hear this with everything in you. The intensity of what you have been feeling recently is not a sign that you are losing. It is a sign that something is about to arrive. The enemy does not fight people who are not threats. He does not apply maximum pressure to empty promises. The weight you have been carrying is proportional to what you are carrying toward. Type "chosen" in the comments if you feel this in your spirit right now. Let that word be your declaration. Layer 2. What the interruption is actually doing inside you. I want you to do something with me right now. I want you to close your eyes for just a moment if you can do so safely. And I want you to picture something. Picture yourself standing in front of a massive stone dam. Behind that dam, pressing against it with enormous accumulated force, is water. But not ordinary water. This water is golden. It glows. It pulses with light. And it has been building behind that dam for years. Every prayer you prayed, every seed you planted, every act of faith you performed when you had every reason not to believe. Every morning you got up when you wanted to stay down. Every time you chose integrity when compromise would have been easier. Every tear you cried that heaven collected. All of it behind that dam. All of it pressing forward. Now look at the dam. Look carefully. Do you see it? There are cracks. Small ones. But they are there. The pressure of everything God has been storing on your behalf has been working on that dam from the inside. And those cracks appeared recently, not years ago. Recently. The interruption you experienced today, the one that brought you here, is one of those cracks opening. God interrupted your day to put something in you that the dam cannot hold back any longer. He is loading the final pressure. He is preparing the release. And when that dam breaks, and chosen one, it is going to break, the flood will be proportional to how long it has been building, which means it will be unlike anything you have seen in your life. Open your eyes. What is coming is not a trickle, it is a flood, and it is coming because you did not give up. Layer 3. The 3 signs that your interruption is divine. I want to give you 3 signs that confirm the interruption you experienced today was arranged by God and not by coincidence. Check these against your own experience. The first sign is that it felt disproportionate. The pull you felt, the pause, the stop, was stronger than the content seemed to warrant. Something in you responded before your mind could analyze why. That disproportionate pull is the signature of a divine appointment. Your spirit recognized the frequency before your intellect caught up. The second sign is that something in you resisted leaving. You may have almost kept scrolling, almost dismissed it, and something held you. Not curiosity, something deeper than curiosity. A knowing that if you left, you would be walking away from something you needed. That resistance is not your personality. That is the Holy Spirit pressing you toward what He arranged. The third sign is that at least one thing I said today described your life with a precision that felt impossible. A detail so specific that you thought, "How does He know that about me?" That precision is not coincidence and it is not performance. It is God speaking through a messenger to confirm that He sees you. He has always seen you. He has never for one single moment lost sight of where you are, what you have been through, and where He is taking you. If all 3 of those signs are present, and I believe they are, then type "free" in the comments. Because what God is about to release in your life cannot be bought, cannot be earned, and cannot be stopped. It is free, it is grace, and it was always meant for you. Layer 4. What you are required to do with this interruption. Chosen one, every divine interruption comes with a requirement. Philip was interrupted, and then he was required to get up and go toward the desert road without explanation. Joseph received the dream, and then he was required to endure the pit, the prison, and the silence without abandoning the promise. The interruption is never the end. It is always the beginning of a response. I am going to tell you what this specific interruption is asking of you, and I need you to receive this not as a religious instruction, but as a strategic directive from the God who arranged your entire day around this moment. First, you are required to declare, not think, not hope, not quietly believe. Declare. Speak out loud, in your own voice, in whatever room you are in right now, these words: I receive the interruption. I trust the preparation. What God stored for me is being released now. Say it, not for performance, as an act of alignment between your mouth and what your spirit already knows is true. Second, you are required to release the timeline. The single greatest weapon the enemy uses against chosen ones in the season right before their breakthrough is the torment of timing. You start calculating how long it has been. You start comparing your timeline to other people's. You start using the passage of time as evidence against the promise. Release it. Isaiah 55:8 says, For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. The delay was not a mistake. The timing is not yours to manage. Your responsibility is obedience to the interruption, and God's responsibility is the arrival of the harvest. Third, you are required to watch the next 72 hours. When God interrupts your day and you receive it, He tends to confirm the interruption quickly, not always dramatically. Remember, He speaks in the still, small voice. But in the next 72 hours, pay attention to an unexpected conversation, an unexpected opening, an unexpected word that arrives in a form you were not looking for. God does not interrupt without follow-through. What He started today, He will confirm. Type "Why trust you, Lord" in the comments. Let that be your declaration over the next 72 hours. Chosen one, let me bring you to where we need to end. You came into this video in the middle of your ordinary day. You had no way of knowing that what felt like a random pause was actually a divine appointment. You had no way of knowing that the interruption was the message, that the stopping was itself the instruction, that God does not always speak in the dramatic, that sometimes the most important thing He will ever say to you arrives quietly, in the middle of a Tuesday, in the middle of whatever ordinary thing you were doing when you stopped and chose to receive. You were not brought here because you are spiritual enough. You were not brought here because you have done everything right. You were brought here because God is completing something in you that started long before you understood what it was. The delays were not punishment. The pain was not abandonment. The silence was not rejection. All of it, every closed door, every dry season, every moment of wondering if any of this was real, all of it was material in the hands of a God who builds things that last. The preparation is finishing. That is not a comfort phrase. It is a spiritual reality confirmed by the very fact that you are here, in this moment, receiving these words, unable to deny that something in them is true. The dam is cracking. The harvest is turning. The timeline that felt broken is actually perfectly on schedule, on God's schedule, which is the only one that matters. And the enemy who worked so hard to keep you distracted today, to keep you too busy, too tired, too numb to stop, he lost. Because you stopped. You showed up to the appointment he did not want you to keep. And what was downloaded into your spirit in the last few minutes cannot be taken back. You are not a regular person having a difficult life. You are a chosen soul operating in enemy territory, carrying a promise that predates your birth, moving toward a fulfillment that your eyes have not yet seen, but that your spirit has always known was real. Go into the next 72 hours with open eyes. Watch for the confirmation, receive the follow-through, and when it comes, and it will come, remember that it started today, with a small stop, an ordinary interruption, and a God who loved you enough to break into your Tuesday to make sure you heard Him. Subscribe if you want to keep receiving these messages at the moments when you need them most. Share this with someone who needed to hear it today. And in the comments, tell me, what is the one thing from today that you are carrying forward? I read every word. You are seen. You are known. You are always chosen.